The title of our talk is Society 5.0 with Ruby, the key to developing human resources contributing to the society. We are from Fェリス女学院. I am Uchida of IT Center, Ichiji and Nagai, the Juniors and Global and Intercultural Department, and Horike, who graduated from the same department in March 2020. And in this presentation, we would like to introduce the introduction to programming we started in 2017. Fェリス女学院 was founded as the first institution to educate girls based on the Christian philosophy and loved by citizens of Yokohama, where the school is located. We celebrated its 150th anniversary this year. We've developed women resources with the motto for others. As the ground design for the 150th anniversary, we presented mid-long-term basic policy. This is the website of our university. We try to pioneer and we try to pave the way for the history. This is the ground design for the 150th anniversary. We presented mid and long-term basic policy of the university. It is to educate women capable of opening and leading the new era, who can identify and solve problems, coexist with others who have diverse cultures and values, and flexibly cope with emerging problems with the knowledge needed for the 21st century. The university consists of 3 departments and college: Department of Literature, Department of Global and Intercultural Studies, and College of Music. There are approximately 2,600 students, including grad students. Ours is the University of Humanities without major in informatics. The project we are presenting today is one of the courses in the Global and Intercultural Studies. This is the agenda for our talk today. The background, the outline of the classes, experience of students, how can we utilize the knowledge after being employed, and the conclusion. This is the agenda for our talk. The modern society requires us to have various competencies. In the society of informatics, cross-sectional knowledge and information are present in a sporadic manner. Capability to identify and use information is expected so that necessary information can be found easily. In addition, the society now requires us to have various competencies, including knowledge acquired at the university and basic skills to live effectively as a member of the society. We aim at Human-Centered Society 5.0, where each of us can lead a comfortable life, connect to all the other members of the society by sharing various knowledge and information so as to create novel values. The programming education for everyone has been focused. The programming education is introduced to elementary schools so that everyone can get a knowledge on programming. Next year and after, the National Guidance for Education at middle and high schools will be revised, where programming is positioned as an important skill. The current national guidance has a unit of programming, but only 20% of high schools offer the course, and not all students take the course. It creates the situation where many college students now go into the society as a labor force without learning any basic programming skills. I would like to highlight the current informatics education in high school. The graph is a result of the questionnaire on the freshmen at our university. This is multi-choice items on the subjects they studied at school. Document production, presentation, and tabulation and calculation are the main ones without reaching 100% coverage. It is clear from here that the schools focus on operation of apps. Programming education is slightly increased compared to that in 2018, but still only 20% students have learned it. In higher education, 64.5% of universities have compulsory credits on general informatics in accordance to the survey conducted by Ministry of Education. We have no such compulsory curriculum at our university, and it is at the discretion of each student whether to take the credit or not. It is not easy to expand the opportunity of learning. I would like to ask students what they learned at high school. In high school, informatics education is compulsory, and the subject matter contains the credit in programming. The students, however, do not write programs, but to manually transcribe the series of letters written on the blackboard on the paper. I had no idea, and in order to take a test, we tried to memorize the numbers and letters. I had no idea that I studied programming until I took the course at university. Nothing I learned at high school stays in my head. The students and teachers diligently worked on the informatics education, but the course was just a part of the whole system of curriculum, not leading to the accumulation and utilization of the knowledge. Now I would like to ask the students how they feel about the course in the humanity-oriented university. Most of the classes are one-way lectures. There are limited opportunity to practice what we learned in a more real environment, and there are no place to teach competencies required in the society. There are few opportunities to think and work independently, as well as to acquire skills required in the society. Programming is the skill expected from everyone. There are systems to educate highly skilled workers, but not for those who need basic skills. In order to work effectively in the IT-oriented society, each person should be equipped with a certain level of skills. The Women's University in Humanity, like ours, have many students who are not good at using computers and/or mathematics. We wonder how we can create the student-friendly courses. It should respond to the students with various background and be offered in a limited number of classes. The materials should be teacher-friendly as well. We think it important to educate students so that they can obtain not only basic knowledge, but also the skills required in the society. We therefore incorporate PBL with Introductory to Programming. Since it is difficult to develop a new curriculum at our university, we offer this course in the specialized subject focusing on modern society at global and intercultural studies. This is the outline of the classes. It is the specialized subjects of GICS. Students can take subjects across the departments, so students outside GICS can take this one. It is offered to students of any grade, from freshman to senior. The course consists of 15 classes of 90 minutes and gives 2 credits when completed. The class is divided into 2 parts. The first is on programming, and the latter is on the project using PBL. For programming, the students learn basic knowledge on programming, including control structures and abstracting. At the end of the programming part, they will independently work on the midway task. The latter half, 7th to 15th classes, are offered in a group of 4 students. They will work on the projects. Different project task is given each year, like designing nailed stickers, clear files, and other stickers. Usually, the success in the classes depends on how a student fits with the topic of the class. However, students who take this course have different background, interests, and level of understanding. Some students can learn quickly and others take long to comprehend the contents. The classes we offer make it possible for the students to learn repeatedly during the project part, even if their understanding in the programming part is not enough. There are various activities included in the whole course, from programming, team making, and producing deliverables. They can take whatever is important and meaningful to them. The programming language we use is Ruby. With the cooperation of Dr. Hisano of UEC, the 5-step material is used for creation of such graphics as circle, triangle, and square. They are asked to write codes from the first class. This is an example of a textbook used for the first class. The coordinate and the color are designated, and the students are asked to create graphics as indicated. They learn basics from sequential processing, branching, and loop. The method is in the black box at the beginning, and gradually we add descriptions so that they can deepen their understanding. Writing codes, executing, and other processes require hard work for students who have never been exposed to programming, but they have a deep sense of satisfaction when the system reads the code and displays true, and when the graphics they created are on the screen. The experience enhances the interest and understanding of a computer. As an interim task to confirm if they understand the first part, we give students a task on branching, loop, and abstraction. It is not a simple task, but an integration of production and advanced technology. With the cooperation of the industry, we use a thin paper, which usual printers available at university and home cannot print, to design the package for toilet paper roll. The slide on the right is the final deliverables. Some students commented that they keep it as a treasure. Output of deliverables give them a deep sense of achievement. The interim task helps students realize what they understood and what they did not. We try to supplement what is missing in the latter part of the course. The following is an impression of the students who took the course. How they learned and what are the effects of the class. I understand the mechanism of branching and loop, but it was difficult for me to think of the graphics utilizing them. I'm not good at mathematics and cannot construct equations. There are several ways to write codes, and I found it difficult to choose one, resulting in using only squares and loops. My classmates who understood branching and loops better can create complicated patterns, but they also said that they could not achieve the goal to connect them and arrange it as they wished. There are many things we had never experienced. If we have only 6 classes, the knowledge would not have stayed, as in the case of mathematics we learned. After the 7th class, we conduct project in a group of 4. The first task was to create a sticker and animation composed of 4 pictures. The bottom right diagram represents the process. It is not that we work on a picture together. Rather, each one created a part, and the group integrates the parts created to complete one picture. The upper right sailboat is the completion. In this project, we set the target. We have the data of the tourism boat, and we have a programming for the boat for the foreigners. And we have information literacy learning as well. Through this, we may be able to develop a program. And many people have to take their roles. In the programming introduction, we can experience a lot of things. And system development understanding deepens. In this picture, we have a condition that we have to create a picture by a group. Our team decided to have a motif, decoration, and background and integration. The most difficult was the integration work. Where and what to be arranged should be designed. It is very difficult. Especially the adjustment of the scale is difficult. One digit difference makes big difference, so it takes long time.
I would like to talk about the abstract thinking and using the computer. Try to find a good presentation and order of the parts and the combination of the simple parts to make a complex form. And then we use the loop that we have learned to make equidistant windows, and the simple formula was very difficult to make. In the left hand side, there is no numbers and no characters. On the right hand side, you have the information about the coordinate system. And when the information is described, then you can deliver this to other people so that they can understand smoothly. And in the case of the method sharing, the communication is critical. Put a comment on the method, the person can understand smoothly what represents. I didn't notice, but I learned this from looking at other members doing it. And the comment, considered comment can be transferred clearly, and there's no error of the communication. And as we are communicating online, I try to make it better. And this is I made alone. I didn't know the color code, therefore the grotesque, the colors, and there's no balance. The proper, and on the right hand side, I was helped by the members, and the color is better, and also image is closer to the wheel. I couldn't solve this problem, therefore I depended upon other members who are capable. I didn't understand how I didn't do it, and was communicated very well. I'd like to talk about the result and the failure of the group work. In our team, when we do this task, we clarify the objectives. The theme is related to Yokohama, and to make a clear file was the task that given to us. But I were we were not just thinking of the design of the clear file, but the finished products of the clear file should be marketed and sold to the external people. This is how we made it, and this is the result of the clear file. These are the Okapi Kotafelis, and there are some collaborative characters, and it is possible to enjoy it like a board game. And we clarify the target to do the group work effectively. So not just making the clear file together, we were able to the target, and we were able to learn how to plan that can be useful for the work, actual real work in a society. Nihonmaru and the restaurant in the night, and the Akarenga, the warehouse. I'd like to show you the failure case. On the right hand side is the finished results, and the left hand side the scale is mistaken, particularly for the windows in the middle. There's a method or order is wrong, and therefore there's a windows on the pillar and the column, and we were in charge of each parts, and the parts were good, but in indicating the coordinate for each part, the two parts came to be the same place. Because of the lack of the information on the design, this is resulted. Therefore, it is very important to communicate well. And writing a program with Ruby, we learned the problem from the errors, and were able to learn how to solve the problem. For instance, which the line of the code is a problem, and what are the type of the error. And it was possible to judge it visually. And usually in the school, we were not able to experience this. Even though this is a simple program, we were able to understand what to think about. And the requested output is needed for the manufacturing, but we were not able to produce exactly the same output. The circles and the triangles were not put into perspective in the design. Therefore, we made it within the scope of our knowledge if it was requested by the real client. I don't know how they grade our products. It was very difficult to live up to the request of the customers. And the important skill is coordination and cooperation. This is a group chat among members, and these are the code made, and there are some problems, and in this the chat we are discussing how to solve the problem, verbalizing the problem, and quickly consult with others and ask questions, and somebody who knows the answer would respond quickly. So through the consultation and the communication, we were able to uh, get near to the goal. And we can learn from the failure, and this is very important for the improvement of skills and the capacity needed in a society. From the prototype, the integration process, and the improvement of the balance and the colors, this was the result of the learning with this drawing program. For instance, you are looking at this video of the failure case. Actually, the squirrel is walking backward, but because of the mistake, there is the locking the process. As a result, the skirt is elongated in this way. The program is utilized in combination with, and actually the role division was done properly, but the title was not properly indicated. Therefore, the communication of the information was not proper. But we were able to find the problem and come to the solution because the material was drawing the picture. If you make some mistakes, then the soon you can visualize a problem, and then with this you can come to the solution of the problem. With this experience, we were able to find this. In the case of the group work, it is very important to communicate so that the other people would understand. In the project, we have to go back from the target and goal. We had 15 lectures, therefore it was easier to develop a plan. First, we developed a plan and then communicated amongst the members, and we were able to achieve the target smoothly. And the progress has been checked frequently and modifying the target when necessary. And the flexible response was considered to be very important. And writing the program is not that important, all that important, but using the program and conducting the project was more important to understand the system development. When you do something together, not as individual, teamwork is very important. I talked about the color scheme of the wheels, and from the team member, you can learn the different perspective and the thinking, and the product can be more complete. In the interim presentation, we were able to hear the advice from other teams, and the member who are good at designing were able to work in the design of the integration. Therefore, and the process has been very smooth. This is an important skill in the society, and we're able to learn through experience rather than the one-way lecture. In the New York Times, Eric Mazel said that watching the marathon on TV, you cannot be the marathon runner. Like in the case of the science, you have to uh, experience the thought process of the scientist. And before we didn't have opportunity to work manually, but with this learning of the program, we conducted a project and solidified knowledge. I graduated from the Fェリス女学院 University, and I'm the novice in a society. And through the experience in the society, I believe that the skill that we learned in this programming and lecture is quite useful. and the introduction of the new system is ongoing in various companies and digitalized and automated. And through this process, there are many troubles. So it is very important to understand the principle of the trouble and what is going on. When something is wrong, there's a possibility of the large liability and the loss. And therefore, in order to monitor and the surveillance system for this problem, uh, it is critical to understand the principle. Uh, Although we didn't understand all of the expertise in this lecture, it is the critical for us to understand the basics. And this process of the program is connected to the process of manufacturing and development in a society, quite useful to establish the project target. And the programming is done by team, and we teach and instruct and understand the capability of the individuals, and we learn the skill of communication. And this experience is useful when we try to teach the job to the colleagues and also teach to the younger generation. And you need to understand the other persons are saying in the communication with the engineers. And the numbers is verbalized and the language is put into numbers. And I learned a lot of things in these lecture series. Now I'm working in a society, not just acquiring the knowledge and listening to the lecture of the professors in the university. It's better to learn in a teamwork. You have input and then the content will be output. And we learn how to work in a team in the society. And I think we acquire the skill of communication, which is not possible through the one-way lecture. And through this programming activity, the failure and the success can be visualized well. And in the society, we can overcome failures. And uh, we were able to experience this. How to learn, how to pass time in the university. Depending upon the experience, you can be the good, skilled, the human resource in Japan. This is the first time to learn the programming using Ruby, and all of them met for the first time and try to produce something common. And it's not working very well in some cases and difficult, but at this moment, team activity is done better with this experience. And uh, and also, the compromise can be suggested in the real world. And also, we can create more new values in a society. Therefore, we have to use the capability of each person and we have to cooperate. In the society in the future, the system will be utilized very near to your their daily life. And therefore, the system development expert is not sufficient. And so, understanding the programming concept while you are students, you can expand your activities and the possibility in the society for the generation of new values and the solution of the problem. So, we were able to understand that this important facts. As we have introduced, we use the materials such as a circle, triangle, and the square. And they are very simple, but in addition to accumulating the knowledge, they experience a team project and learn various things. There are only 15 lectures, but they wrote course and experience making things and learn how to think, and they acquire the diversified thinking. Uh, because the material was very simple, the behavior was visualized and deepening the understanding. We do have the group work at university, but they are just doing it simply getting together and work together, but the role should be clarified in this kind of a group work and in the programming, the role to be played by each member was clarified. Not all of the thing has been understood very well, but they noticed many things, and I hope that we can make a contribution to the bottom-up type of education. Although the lecture series should be improved further. Thank you.